This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, you're encouraged to like and share them on Facebook. It's time for Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce, US 1, between Avenue A and Orange Avenue, directly across from City Hall in the historic Arcade Building. And here's your host, Joanne Augusto.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. I hope everyone's having an awesome morning. I am really, feeling phenomenal this morning. And I've been doing a few extra things in the routine now that the house is all organized and unpacked and
You're
I'm
giving
getting
us
back
clues.
in. Yes, and I definitely want to share what I definitely put back into my day that I missed, and holy moly, just in 4 short days, feeling better already.
You know, there are some folks who've been doing the same thing though all along. They never stop.
I know, I love people that have that commitment to their health and their lifestyle. And, Matt and I were talking about this morning. Sometimes it's hard to make the right choices, but we really can't expect anyone to make them for us, or we have to just dig deep and know that it will benefit us 100%. There's, when you're doing the right thing, it's 100% right. It's just, you can't really, get around that. You just got to do it. You can't wait for someone else to do it for you. You can't, wait for some big a claw to pick you up and bring you to where you need to go. You just got to make that first step and get going. So today I am definitely inspired by my teenage son. So we were driving to school as usual, and now it's a 30-minute drive. And he is staring at that mirror in the, what do you call the visor, the mirror in the visor, and just staring at his chin, which has a couple little pimples, and he's checking out his teeth, and he's looking in his eyes, and he's just really, and he does this pretty much every morning. And I'm like, honey, what's up? Like, you're spending 10 minutes staring at yourself. He's like, well, Mom, I feel like my teeth can be a little whiter, and this acne, I need to get rid of this acne. And, he's just turned 15 and just started high school, so very concerned with his looks,
Very hard to avoid acne, though, when you're 15.
Well, and I've been teaching him about diet. So he said, well, Mom, can't you just give me something I can put on and that's fast and easy? And what about that stuff, you always say it's your most popular show, that pulling stuff. We haven't done that in a while. And I literally just had that light bulb moment. Well, if my own son needs a reminder about what to do externally to look your best, maybe my listeners would like to have a refresher. So I did some research, and it's super cool because oil pulling, since I did the show, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I lost track, a long time ago. There is some really cool new tips and research to go along with it, as well as things for acne. So the topic today is not only, of course, internal health like always, so please call in with any of your health questions, no matter what it is, but kind of like that stuff on the surface, your pearly white teeth, making your teeth look nice and beautiful and strong, keeping your skin clear, that kind of stuff. So I thought, for anyone listening, no matter what age, we all want to look our best every day. Well, I hope so. So that's
what's
what
that tell
the
you
topic
about
is.
your 15-year-old? I mean, he's been paying attention all these years.
He's been paying attention, and he's getting into the girl phase where he wants to look sharp and look his best.
But he's instinctively got the right idea.
And he keeps breathing on his breath, and he's like, Mom, how do you know what your breath is like? And I'm like, just breathe and cup it. That's what I see everyone doing,
Yeah. And if they make a funny face, ooh. And if they don't,
yeah, exactly. If they come in really close, then safe is you have good breath. But yes, I just wanted to mention before we do the breathing exercise, so everyone get ready for that, is today is the last day for the probiotic sale at the store. So if you are a probiotic purchaser at my store, please don't wait till tomorrow, because today is the last day for 30% off on the Garden of Life probiotics. We have the shelf-stable ones, the cold ones, for mood, urinary tract, prostate, colon, vaginal health. I mean, anything. They just take all the great, phenomenal strains that they always have, and Dr. Perlmutter thoroughly researched, clinically studied extra strains that apply to the ones I just mentioned. So come in and grab those before the discount goes away. So 30% off. Today is the last day. All right, are you ready to be our counting master?
Okay. I think if somebody wants to join in with what we're about to do, we're only going to do it a couple times, but you're invited to, at your leisure, when you've got time and when you're away from everybody else, try it for prolonged periods of time to see what
Hey, how
happens.
about all day long?
Well, if you're in chronic pain, it can help. It can really help.
It helps everything. There's nothing that this doesn't help. It's available to all. So again, for newbies, thank you so much for listening this morning. So we do a breathing exercise before the show begins each and every Thursday morning. And it entails a quick breath out to get all the negative and all the bad stuff out. And
We'll tell
then
you when to start. Don't
deep
start
breath
yet.
in
Yep.
through your nose for 5, hold for 5, and then exhale through your nose only for 5. Do this nice and relaxed. Count on your fingertips. It's very meditative if you're not driving.
Okay.
All right, Cliff, let's exhale now.
Okay. How many times are we going to do this?
Just a couple. Just
Okay.
2.
Okay.
Okay,
Now,
here we go.
Start your nasal inhalation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Awesome.
You can continue
Thank you,
along if you
Cliff.
wish throughout the rest of the show, and we'll see you on the other end. And otherwise, just stay tuned.
Yes, I love telling all the customers that try to think of the number 5. If you do that 5 times and 5 times a day, that's a really easy way to remember, and it really can make a great, amazing health difference
We did
in
it
your
twice.
life.
It only took 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's
30
definitely
seconds of controlled
amazing,
breathing.
amazing what can happen if you really make a pattern of that. So speaking of lifestyle habits that I kind of got away from a little bit with all the moving and craziness of life, is doing Dr. Mercola, Mercola. If you do not follow Dr. Mercola on social media, I strongly suggest you do so. He is amazing, extremely informative. He thoroughly researches all his topics, so it's not completely opinion-based. He seeks after people all around the world that it's their specialty. So he brings forth lots of credible information and easy to follow tips. And one of them is his 3-minute nitric dump exercise. You're supposed to do it 3 times a day. And Matt and I were doing so good doing that, feeling amazing. The benefits to the heart, the circulation, libido, things that people usually spend a lot of money on, and with side effects, this is for free. And Dr. Mercola is a heart specialist. So it's all over YouTube, all over social media. If you type in Dr. Mercola 3-minute, that's usually enough to pull it up, or nitric dump oxide workout. He does the one video that's the short synopsis of it, or you can follow him the whole time, the whole 3 minutes. And it's super easy. Anyone can do it. The kids were doing it with us this morning. Super cool. Most songs actually run for about 3 minutes, sometimes 3 minutes and 14 seconds, give or take. But it's awesome. You blast that music in your home, you get everyone involved, and you can feel your blood flow strengthen. You can really get focused and energized, and it's only 3 minutes, and you can do it to your level. So you will see, like Dr. Mercola does it really fast with weights. I don't do it with weights. He strongly suggests wait until you get to the weight phase. But, you can really bend your knees, or just a little bit if you're just beginning or you have knee issues or back issues. But please check it out. Just started back, already feel amazing and energized. And the other thing is doing lots of water first thing when you wake up. I love coffee now. I dream of it. I can't wait to get out of bed and drink it.
Wakes me up when somebody's up ahead of me and they turn it on.
Do you know, Cliff, you remember that Folgers commercial where the first, isn't it Folgers, where they have that song where, the
best
lady
part of waking up?
and they smell it from downstairs, their
yeah.
husband's making it. Well, I used to laugh because I didn't drink coffee then. And I was like, oh, please, come on.
Oh, your
what
coffee
a joke.
will wake you up
now,
for you.
when Matt's putting that coffee on, I'm like, oh, yeah,
And these
I'm out of
automatic
bed.
coffee makers that have it ready for you. What time you're getting up? You
Yeah,
set it
and
for
I
your
wonder
alarm
about
clock.
that because, I use that special isogenics coffee that's alkalizing, and I wonder if I can let it sit all night long in the I don't know. To me, it would lose some of
Yeah.
its oomph. But
Well, there's
either
nothing
way,
like when you first open up a fresh pack of vacuum wrapped.
I
coffee.
sniffed that bag for like 5 minutes.
Well, the bag breathes when you pop it open.
Yeah,
It goes.
and I actually, if I have emptied my garbage, I empty it and then I put the empty bag in the garbage pail, so it smells like coffee all day. Yeah, I can go on and on
And you
about
can
my coffee
dump your
addiction.
coffee filters into another bag that you can mulch outside near the garden or
That's
something.
an awesome tip. Very good. Yeah. Well, the best part of this is that, I got away from drinking water first because I would just, come out of bed and the coffee was ready. So I started pounding coffee. But even though I'm drinking alkalizing coffee, nothing's better than putting water in your body as soon as you wake up.
Yeah.
So again, started back just a couple days ago doing that, and I feel better already. I don't get that weird wishy-washy feeling in my belly that sometimes coffee can give you, or just you want to, you've been resting all night, sleeping all night, rejuvenating all night. You want the first thing that goes into your body is water, especially if you're making an effort to use purified alkalized water because your body's really acidic in the morning. So give it a better chance at starting the day correctly with water, not coffee, okay? So
Coffee's acidic too.
yes, most coffees, unless you're specially buying an alkalized coffee, and I think there's only 3 available from what I understand that's good quality. So I spend $14 on my coffee, where before, like the Starbucks and those high-end ones, I was spending like 12 to 13, so it's only like $2 difference. So definitely look into getting the highest quality coffee you can. Drink less if you need to for your budget. Definitely instead of starting your day with real acidic chemicalized coffee. All right, and then the other story, I have a few stories this morning. Everyone knows me and my stories. So a rep came in and told me about Cell Power, which I already had carried, and I loved it. But it's one of those things that when I moved the store, kind of didn't make its way back into the new location. Well, she came in and said, listen, Joanne, you really need to try this again. It's one of my favorite reps who I trust. And she gave me a bottle to use again to remind me of the magic of it. So we have Cell Food at the store, which I've had the gentleman on the radio show. It's a great product, alkalizes you, oxygenates you. It does all that great stuff. But she said something that caught my interest. She said, Joanne, I have heard so many stories of people using this externally on their skin for skin cancers or not melanoma, but just any like basal cells, which I'm just like a magnet for. So, oh wait, words are strong. I'll take that back. I'm not a magnet for anymore. So I used it the way she told me to, which was basically 1 drop on your fingertip and apply it to the area in question. Well, there's an area above my lip where I couldn't even use lip liner because the basal cell that kept trying to come out, I was keeping it at bay, but it almost looked like I had a cold sore or something that just never really truly went away. Like it was just a still little mark. Well, I put it on 2 days later, gone. So I'm definitely telling my listeners this is real, this is true. I saw it with my very own eyes after only 2 drops. So this company's representative will be coming on this radio show because I started doing research. This has been around for a super long time, phenomenal fermentation process, safe, effective. So I won't spoil all the greatness of it, but you definitely want to check out Cell Power. And I have a cool little instrument to test to see if you need this at the store now. It just arrived yesterday. So if you've gone into doctor's offices or if you have any respiratory issues, COPD, you're probably familiar with a pulse oh my God, I get tongue-tied with this word, oximeter, an oxygen saturation tester. It's the one you put your pointer finger in, you hold it for a few seconds, it tells you your pulse rate and your saturation of oxygen in your blood. Super cool test. I did mine yesterday when it arrived, and luckily I was right on point. I was really happy about that. So if you come in, it's a free test. So not only can you test your body fat for free, but you can test your pulse and your oxygen saturation levels. And the cell power can increase your oxygen within 5 minutes. So if your oxygen saturation looks low, we'll give you a few tester drops, and right away, within 5 minutes, just take a few loops around the store and your oxygen level will go up. Super cool stuff. All right. Last and final story before topic of the day. Went to a bridal show on Sunday. Went with Matt and my good friend Kim. Super professional. Great. We met photographers and caterers and tent people. Very overwhelming. And all we heard in our brains was cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. But so you enter this raffle at the end, and there was these super cool prizes. But the only person that seemed a little out of place in this whole convention area, because there was like 4 lanes of booths, was a chiropractor. And I didn't know this chiropractor, but you know me. Anyone that's into healing and holistic medicine, I'm like, oh my gosh. So Matt found him and said hello. And I didn't spend much time because I already have a phenomenal chiropractor. So honestly, I didn't even have a conversation. So then we put our entry into the main raffle, sit down. Well, what do I win but the chiropractor's gift to the raffle? And I said, out of all these people here, I won that. I thought that was so cool. So I was expecting something super duper healthy. It was a box, like a date night box that was filled with all candy. Skittles, M&Ms, malt balls, like the most candiest, sugary stuff. And I was like, I can't believe a chiropractor is giving this out. But then I realized they were just trying to do something fun and creative. But my point of the story is that, just because someone is in the healing profession, sometimes they're just right out of school and they haven't really learned the connection between mind, body, soul. So just remember that, you be your own advocate, and just because someone has a title doesn't mean they've learned everything yet. Give them a chance to go on their journey. But definitely know that if you put sugar and that kind of stuff in your body, it won't help the person that's trying to heal you with adjustments and all that good stuff. It won't really help out. It will only hamper the process. So if he happens to be listening, again, that's why I'm not throwing any names out there. I know you're beginning your journey, so good luck with that. All right, the topic of the day. So we are talking about oil pulling. My favorite topic.
It's a lot of people's favorite topic.
It has gotten so popular. It's insane. Everyone pretty much has heard of it, if not does it or tried it. And
guess what happened?
It's so amazing.
When people started looking for the correct types of oils to use for oil pulling, even the grocery stores got involved and said, hey, we can't miss out on this.
Yeah.
And everybody started putting out coconut oil and other oils.
Yeah, and the sesame oil. It's like, Cliff, you've mentioned the story a few times, but I have to say I got pretty flattered when my local grocery store said, some girl was on the radio and that's why we're all out of sesame oil. And I just giggled. I was like, oh my gosh, it was really amazing. But the first show I did, there are some new cutting edge little tricks and tips to go along with the oil pulling, so I definitely felt like I needed to share it. So oil pulling for any newbies is super cool, been used for over 1,000 years, so definitely, as far as holistic goes, been time tested. Now there's scientific studies that back up all the claims that have been made. So other than one showing that they're not sure if it's all about the oil pulling or just about the amount of attention now you're all of a sudden giving your oral health. Either way, most of the claims have been proven. So super cool. So definitely want to pay attention to the next few minutes. So oil pulling is a simple technique that anyone and everyone can do, no matter the age. It can be used with olive oil, sesame oil, or coconut oil. I do suggest that back 1,000 years ago, they didn't have to worry about the quality of the oils they were using. Now we definitely do. So if you come across a website that says, oh, you can use regular conventional oils, that is based on information that does not take into consideration the quality of our crops now, the chemicals, the 300 different fertilizers, pesticides, fungicides that are used, and GMOs. So when you are choosing your oil, please know the purpose of it is to detoxify and get your body healthier. So do not start oil pulling with something that isn't healthy. So you want to look for non-GMO, non-genetically modified organism type oil. Very clearly on the label it will be marked. Organic if possible. So organic, non-GMO usually go together, but sometimes not. So definitely try to get those two things. Cold processed, or sometimes it might say non-refined. Now, coconut oil is a little trickier. There's a couple things they can do that they do not have to mention on a label. So, bleaching coconut oil is a very common practice now. Most of the larger marketplaces that charge just a few dollars for their coconut oil, they are bleached. That's what gives it that nice color, and it takes away some of the coconut oil smell that for some reason some people don't like. I absolutely love it. And it also kind of cuts back on the nice odor that coconut oil usually gives. So they might put odor things to make the odor go away, and also the bleach to make any discolorations go away to keep it really white. So look for things that also hydrogenization. So a test that you can do if you have coconut oil at home is put it outside for 2 minutes, especially right now in August in this really high heat. It should melt instantly. Coconut oil, if it has not been tampered with, would get liquidy about 75 degrees and warmer, and then it would get rock solid if you put it in the fridge for, about an hour. So if yours does not do that and it just stays pretty thick and mushy, so it doesn't get rock hard or doesn't get liquid, it means it's been tampered with. So you want to find coconut oil that is really clean. And I promote Garden of Life. I order every month a gross of those bottles, 144 bottles, because I love them. I sell them pretty much at my cost so everyone can find it affordable, and they don't go and buy the cheap stuff because it won't give them the benefits that I always talk about at the store.
Now, the cheap stuff might include what you'd find in, a grocery store as opposed to a nutritional store, right?
Yes, and again, the labels can be confusing, and they're also misleading on purpose. So they won't mention bleach, they won't mention deodorizing, and they won't mention hydrogenation. So I don't know what else to tell you other than I've researched and Garden of Life fit my profile, but there might be others. Of course there's others, but I just don't have them at my store. So definitely do your homework, because with the oil pulling, it can do so many amazing things. I have the whole list, and like I said, all these things have been verified. And I'm just going to pull that up because I don't want to miss any of them. All right, here we go. So the most popular thing that oil pulling is used for is treating tooth decay. And it's not preventing, okay, I'm sorry, it is preventing, but not just preventing. It's also reversing tooth decay. I even watched one of the dentists verify this. There are people that have taken the time to show their journey on YouTube videos from the first day of oil pulling until 6 months later, where they have reversed tooth decay. So it takes a commitment, though, and that time is a little longer. But why not? If something can reverse tooth decay, not just prevent, that's amazing. Kill bad breath, that's an obvious because it kills bad bacteria in the mouth. Heal bleeding gums. Prevent heart disease. Yes, I'm going to go over that in more detail later. Heart disease. Reduce inflammation. Whiten teeth. That's what got my son interested. Soothing throat dryness. Preventing cavities. Heal cracked lips. Boost the immune system. Improve acne. And strengthen gum and jaws. There is one more thing that's not on this list that I was also had verified, and I mentioned it on my first show, is it helps stop wrinkle formation. And so how do we get all these benefits? It's so easy. So we buy this high quality oil, again, olive oil, coconut oil, or sesame oil. You can start with 2 teaspoons, but most people do 1 tablespoon. So is 2 teaspoons 1 tablespoon? Now I'm like confused. So some of the sites will say 2 teaspoons. I do 1 tablespoon. And you can put it in your mouth, and you can do this in the bathroom. You can do this while you're doing chores. You can do it while you're showering. It doesn't matter. Just do it where you don't really think about it so the time goes quickly. And you want to try to do it for a minimum of 10 minutes, and some studies use 20 minutes. And those were the real serious people that were trying to reverse periodontal disease or tooth decay. So definitely commit a minimum of 10 minutes. And for some of us, that's like just getting ready for the whole day in the morning. It's nothing. It flies by. So you're going to start swishing, swirling, and chomping this. The only thing you don't do with oil pulling is gargle. So you don't want to tilt your head back. The whole idea is bringing up bacteria, killing what's there, and drawing into more bacteria. So do not gargle. Swish, swirl, chomp. Tons of awesome, funny YouTube videos on this to show you how you can do it. But you shouldn't do it with such exertion that your jaws are getting tired. You just want to gently do this. The whole point is getting all the reflexology spots on the tongue, getting it through the different teeth and swishing it through and chomping it to make sure that you're aggressively making the oil pull on the bacteria and the germs and the pathogens to destroy them. And most people choose coconut oil versus the other oils now because it has a much more pleasant taste than the other two. And the other two, I tried both. They have a consistency after a couple of minutes that's kind of bitter and hard to keep in the mouth. Where coconut oil, it changes its consistency the longer you pull, and it gets easier and easier to keep in the mouth, where the other two seem to be the opposite. So you're going to chomp, swirl, swish, and then the most critical thing, and for all the people that you are following my suggestion before, I do have a change with this point. I used to say spit it into a trash can or the toilet, okay, because that's what I was taught. But it clearly now, do not spit into your sink or your toilet. The sink, for a couple obvious reasons. There's so much bacteria now in what you're about to spit out, so you definitely want to not do that in any sink area where people can come in contact with. But the other thing, like I mentioned, if it's real coconut oil, it will harden with the change of temperature, and it will clog your toilet or sinks. So I hope I didn't create any clogs with any of my listeners over the years, but you definitely want to just spit out and then dump into a trash receptacle, or just spit right into the trash. Do not fool around with any other areas, because gosh forbid, plumbing is expensive, so no clogs. Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, that's like grease. If you think about fat and it's solid, that will definitely cause drainage clogs. Okay. The other little trick is that a lot of people now, because essential oils and all the studies around aromatherapy and internal uses of oils have gotten so big and popular, and it's amazing what essential oils can do for the body inside and out. So they are adding just like 1 or 2 drops to their oil pulling. Clove was the first one that I thought of. Clove has been used again for like 1,000 years when you have a toothache or you have any issue with your oral health. Clove is normally the first thing you go to. But some people are doing oil pulling for whitening of teeth, so a drop of pure lemon oil. And when I speak of oils, I mean high quality food grade organic oils, not cheap stuff that you buy at the big store. So you want to make sure food grade organic oils. So if you are more just doing it to keep your breath nice and fresh and your teeth nice and white, 1 or 2 drops of lemon oil will be perfect. If you have issues going on with your mouth that concerns you, abscesses, periodontal disease, or concern with your heart, you just had heart, issues, or you got a stent put in, or you just don't really know how to go about regaining your health, put frankincense oil. It's expensive, but I am telling you, it's worth it. High quality frankincense oil is amazing. So 1 drop, 1 little drop in with your tablespoon of your coconut oil, whatever oil you choose. Do that for 20 minutes. It's night and day from just 5 days of use. If you can stick to it for 5 days, you will see a significant difference. Now, there are some people that say if you're trying to reverse something, do 2 weeks straight every day, and then you can moderate. I say, why not do 6 months? If you're really concerned about heart disease, periodontal disease, tooth decay, give it 6 months every day. It cannot hurt. There are no known negatives to oil pulling. Nothing bad other than remembering and taking the time. And most coconut oils, especially, at my store, it's very affordable. So it's not going to cost you a lot of money, especially compared to most of the supplements that are used for heart health or oral health. Those can get a little pricey, but not coconut oil. So the other one too, so say you're doing it for bad breath. The other trick one is peppermint oil, one of my favorite oils. It's, freshening of the breath. It's invigorating, helping you focus. So put a drop there. And then again, spit out in a trash receptacle. After that, you can rinse your mouth with salt water, which is one of my favorite things to do, or put a drop of oregano oil or spray of silver to make sure you're killing any remaining bacteria. But if you want to keep it simple, want to keep it really inexpensive, just rinse your mouth out with water and then brush your teeth normally. So today I brought in to show Cliff my favorite toothpaste. Now, oil pulling is from Ayurvedic times, and it's still super popular. So 1,000 years later, we are still using Ayurvedic medicine. And there is a toothpaste that I sell that goes along with the way they believe that teeth were meant to be brushed. So most of our toothpaste that we find, sometimes even in the natural food stores, are full of junk. So here we are trying to freshen our breath, make our teeth strong, make our mouth look better, and we're putting more junk in with these toothpaste. We're putting in fluorides and sodium lauryl sulfate and petroleum byproducts and artificial sweeteners and colors. So really, you got to think about this. Here you are trying to improve your health, and you're putting more damaging things in with brushing your teeth. So this toothpaste from the company called Himalaya has no fluoride, no sodium lauryl sulfate, no carrageenan, no gluten, no artificial sweeteners. It tastes good. It tastes refreshing. The kids even like it. And it has beneficial ingredients too, like silica, bentonite clay, xylitol. It has thyme leaf, zinc in there. There's so much awesome stuff, all Ayurvedic based science. So definitely check out the Himalaya toothpaste. Most health food stores sell this brand. It's super popular and tastes good, and still will get you that nice fresh feeling that some people want, really crave with their toothpaste. But if you didn't want to spend, say, $6 on a tube of toothpaste at a health food store, you can just do it with baking soda at home. Just take a box of baking soda, separate a little out into a Pyrex dish that you keep in your bathroom. And normally I tell people just take a little of that and put it in the palm of the hand so that way you're not dipping your toothbrush into the container. And then put your toothbrush on that. There you go. Brush your teeth with that. Still better than all the chemicals and all the very dangerous ingredients that they put in our toothpaste. Some of the ingredients in our toothpaste are literally listed as carcinogenics. So stay away from the regular toothpaste. If you want to do something economically, baking soda. You can add some fancy oils. There's recipes all over social media for homemade natural holistic toothpaste. But if you want to keep it simple, baking soda or just salt and water. Even better. Nice and simple. All right, Cliff, before we go to the next topic, which is bentonite clay, another one of my favorites, let's take a short break.
You're listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition, heard every Thursday morning in the 10 o'clock hour after Swap Shop, right here on WPSL. Let's take a virtual little trip over to Joanne's Nutrition World right now.
Guiding the Treasure Coast in health, one person at a time. That's their motto at Joanne's Nutrition World, Suite 121, in the historic arcade building on US 1, downtown Fort Pierce. Joanne brings more than 25 years of experience in the natural health industry, right here to you. Take advantage of this free personal guide to wellness and good health. Meet with Joanne herself and get started. Nutrition World always provides you with the hottest new product lines, natural and homeopathic remedies, herbals, and best of all, expert advice from the people who care. Call Joanne at 464-3598, 464-3598, and learn the correlation between diet and great health. Stop in today. The expert guidance to health is always free at Nutrition World. Nutrition World, Suite 121 in the Arcade Building, US 1, downtown Fort Pierce.
And now back to Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World and hosted by Joanne Augusto.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for spending the morning with me. Today's topic is oil pulling and bentonite clay for skin health. So before I go to bentonite clay, I have to point out two things. With oil pulling, it's definitely helping prevent heart disease. They have shown in Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine that your oral health represents your heart health. And for some of us, it might be hard to really get that. Like, how does the health of my mouth have anything to do with the heart? But you got to remember, every single thing is connected. Like your mouth, it's like starts of all your enzyme system. You're digesting your carbohydrates, your starch. I mean, it does so much stuff. The vagus nerve, which is a super cool subject that we would need a whole show on, that connects everything. Your digestive system, your emotional system, your endocrine, your hormonal, like everything together. So we're all connected, every nerve, every cell. But the coolest part is that some of the science wanted to prove, why is it that oil pulling benefits heart health? Like, what is they needed something of substance to really explain it. So Chinese medicine comes the close to explaining it, where your tongue, so there's the one thing that Chinese doctors study is your tongue health. And I'm sure Dr. Shipe on the show that's on right after me talks about it all the time. But the first thing when you see an acupuncturist or a Chinese herbologist or a Chinese of Oriental medicine, they will say, let me see your tongue. And it's like, feels really awkward because none of our normal doctors ever ask this. So here you are opening your mouth, feeling very vulnerable.
They used to.
Yes, they used to,
ago.
right? Open, but what
Yeah.
did they do? They put a tongue depressor on to cover your tongue. They didn't look at your tongue. They looked behind it and around it. But your tongue represents your body. And there is cool charts that you can pull up on Google to see all the reflexology. So your kidneys, your heart, your lung, your spleen, your pancreas is all represented on your tongue. So your tongue health. So like if you open your mouth and your tongue is nice and clear and pink and no ridges or cuts or coatings, you're doing great. But if you open up your mouth and your tongue is coated, there's cracks, there's odor coming out, something is wrong. And it's not because you just ate something. It's because something down inside your body is not working properly. So it is totally true, but what they believe the oil pulling does, from all the swishing and the swirling and the chomping, you're clarifying all those points of reflexology from your tongue, and you're targeting them to stimulate them to work more efficiently. Again, this is out of the box thinking, but this thinking has been around much longer than our thinking. Their medicine, much longer than our medicine. And so maybe it's time for us to kind of open up our hearts, minds, everything, and consider that their way might be the right way. So open up your mouth, look in the mirror, check out your tongue, and really be honest with yourselves. Like, if you didn't, brush your tongue or scrape your tongue, how would the health of your tongue look? And this oil pulling could easily, economically correct these things. And again, most of the studies showed very short time to correct things. It was not years, it was weeks. So start today, don't put it off. And the other thing is, do it first thing in the morning, or if you're really good about staying away from food and sweets and treats and liquids at night, then do it a couple hours after all of that. So empty stomach for sure. First thing in the morning is a great time to do it. That's when your bacteria level is really high in your mouth and you're very acidic. But just again, do not do it after you eat. Always on an empty stomach. All right, so bentonite clay. I have always used this since I was a very young girl and first got involved in health and nutrition with my sisters and my really hippie brother-in-law. And we would mix it and we would make masks like we were Cleopatra. We would just have this green gook all over us. And
That's what that stuff is.
yeah, it was super cool. And we pretty much would have a contest, like who would dry and become like cracked the first. And it's hard because it starts getting really tight and uncomfortable. So the more area you cover, you feel like, oh my gosh, I can't move. You don't want to laugh because it hurts to laugh.
If you smile, your muscles in your face are going to stretch and they're going to crack.
And it little hurts a little when you do that, because it gets so tight. So again, I'm definitely pretty experienced with bentonite clay, but it was about when I was 21 was the first time I used it internally. So I was doing this really intense 9-week fast, and the fast was with seaweed broths. I still had nourishment coming in. It wasn't a water fast, but I didn't chew anything solid. And one of the things that our group was doing was bentonite clay internally. And so we used back then a brand that still is popular today that all the health food stores sell. It's called Sony 7. It's just a really purified clay. Redmond Clay, also phenomenal brand. Theirs comes in a powder form. So it's like a brand that's controlled the way that it's coming up. So, there's no bird droppings in it. There's no environmental pollutants. You feel very safe ingesting it. High trace mineral content and phenomenal pulling action. So it draws on the bad to take them out of you. So just like when you would put a mask on your skin, it would draw out all the things that might create acne or blemishes or any stagnation in your skin. It does the same thing internally. So we would take it first thing in the morning and then right before bed with a little warm water. And oh my gosh, amazing results. And again, a very short period of time. The only complaint, if you really get addicted to doing this stuff, is slight constipation. But if you do it properly which is with lots of warm water, that normally never occurs. If people use it properly, I never hear anyone complaining. And some people, they actually compliment it that if they have IBS, Crohn's, acid reflux, that doing the bentonite clay actually benefited their digestive system and their bowels, that they had no complaints, just positive outcomes. So for acne, you definitely, for skin health, you definitely want to have bentonite clay in the house. There is 100 uses that have nothing to do with acne: immune system health, heart health, bone health, alkalinity, hair health, on and on and on. For wounds, insect bites, food poisoning, you can use bentonite clay for all of those things. And if I have time, I'll go over some recipes at the end of the show. But for acne, it's very simple. You get the pure bentonite clay, and Aztec Secret Healing Clay is the one I sell at the store for acne. It, again, can be used for anything, but I don't know, somehow this stuff draws out the smallest of bacteria. It's incredible. And you mix it with apple cider vinegar until you get like a mayonnaise-like consistency in your bowl. And please, when you mix it, don't mix it in any metal dishes. So glass, wood would be much more suitable. Clay and apple cider vinegar can interact with metal. So I use a wooden spoon. I mix it up and it fizzes. As you add the apple cider vinegar, the clay will fizz, and just keep adding the vinegar until it gets to that mayonnaise-like consistency. If the smell, which if you're using pure apple cider vinegar, which I hope you are, Bragg's is the brand that I always recommend. Please stick to the people that know what they're doing and have been doing it forever. So it has tons of good mother bacteria in it, which is what they call that murky stuff on the bottom. Mix it up good, slowly put it into the clay. And again, when you get that right consistency, you're perfect. But if the smell is overwhelming, you can substitute some water instead of the vinegar. As long as you have a little vinegar in there, that will enhance the experience of neutralizing the pH of your skin and also killing the bacteria. So you apply it to your skin, and again, it doesn't have to be just the acne spots. You know, cover your whole face, your chest, your neck, any area that might be simple to wash off. If you want to still hang out with the family, obviously, you know, you want to do the areas that you're okay with exposing. And then when it gets super dry, you want to shower it off, you know, and you can use a face cloth. And your skin might appear rosy, a little bit like not irritated, but like flushed. That's totally normal. That will dissipate in a few minutes. And you just need to do this 2 times a week. And usually someone will see the difference just in 2 weeks with much less acne. But there is one little twist to this that I want you to really pay attention to. If you have cystic acne, so if your acne looks like it has a large pus pocket, or it almost looks like a wound that's trying to heal, then you do not want the clay to get super dry, because it could irritate it when you're trying to rinse it off, because you have to be a little bit aggressive with getting the dry clay off because it gets super dry. So you normally have to really rinse and use a face cloth, which is worth it. But if you have any of those pockets, it might be tough. So then you want to make a clay gel, which is 2 parts water, not apple cider vinegar, with 1 part clay. And then the clay will be much more moisture and gel-like. And then you apply that to the acne area, and then you take like a damp, breathable cloth, like I'm trying to think, like muslin cloth, and put that on top so it never really fully dries. And just leave that on for 20 minutes, and then you'll easily just rinse that off because it never really dries, but you're still getting that amazing drying effect and killing that bacteria. But here's the trick. They say that it doesn't keep the acne away just because it kills bacteria and draws things out. It actually has absorptive properties to put trace minerals and minerals back into the skin to heal the skin. So not only is it taking the bad stuff out, but it's putting good stuff back in the skin. And there's not many things that we have to do that. Most of the time we're like, okay, something's on our skin. We got to destroy it. We got to dry it. We got to zap it. We got to remove it. But if you don't, again, get to the cause, nourish, rejuvenate, control, then the next few days, you'll have another one pop up. So that's why I love the bentonite clay. You definitely want to remineralize, rebalance, help get that right pH to your skin. And how much less is it than all these crazy price acne things that are out there? My son begged, 6 months ago, before I was really communicating better with him about, what you eat is what lies in your skin. And one product was like $29. I was like, there's no way I can get you enough bentonite clay for a year for $29. So, wow, that hour went fast, Cliff.
Wow.
Holy moly.
Well, back onto the oil pulling and might start the whole craze all over again because it's one
I
of
would
those
love
things
it.
that's well worth doing.
And I am recommitting oil pulling every day for sure, and the bentonite clay every day for sure. These are two super things that you do not want to live without. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Have an amazing week.
For more about oil pulling, consult Joanne Augusto at Joanne's World of Nutrition. Now, during the week, what's the phone number at your store?
772-464-3598.
The old arcade building across from City Hall, US 1 between Orange Avenue and Avenue A. That's where you'll find Joanne's Nutrition World. This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.